The English-speaking Black population, which is double minority because of language and culture, was pretty spread out across the island. And the founders at the time felt like a network that connected all of the orgs that serve this population would help in capacity building and kind of strengthening our reach and our ability to support. The majority of the people that we serve are from the Caribbean, people who have been here since the 70s, put down roots. Geographically, Montreal is pretty large. So we have people from Côte-des-Neiges all the way out to the West Island. But I think that one thing that unites the group as a whole is this challenge in being a double minority within Quebec. They kind of are, I'm gonna say set in their ways. So they have a way that they proceed, things that they believe, the way that they operate. And what we have found with them is if they're not comfortable, then they just won't, right? So when it comes to something like healthcare, they will not access the traditional community structures of support if they don't feel comfortable doing so. So for them, I think it's even, it's exasperating. Like the problem itself, the risks itself can be even greater. As you get older, you need more support. And if they're not comfortable, they're of the generation who will figure it out on their own. They're also fiercely private. So it's even that in itself is something that's cultural. So who your doctor is, what the medications you're on, and these are things that they hold very close. So we are really trying to be that lifeline to say, we're gonna create a safe space here for you, and we're gonna bring in what you need because it is that important, right? So we bring to them a level of comfort that they need. So that, and we hold that really close to our hearts, right? We don't ruffle their feathers, we don't force them. Everything is on their time and in their schedule, and our responsibility is to make it okay for them. The trust is key. Even when we're bringing in people from outside the community or people from the public system, it's very important for us to vet the level of comfort, and we set very strict boundaries around how they interact with them. It's a protective mechanism. When they come to us, it's home, and we hold that like as priority number one.
We do a variety of different activities. We've done anything from cooking classes to having the Alzheimer's Society come in and teach them more about Alzheimer's and the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia. So we try to incorporate a little bit of education along with the actual gathering and the cultural piece that comes with it, healthy eating. We've done dances, so we've had a Valentine's dance, and we've had gatherings at the end of every summer session where we would do different celebrations, like we did a masquerade ball, and they got to decorate their own masks in the weeks before and then wear it the day of. I think we tried to do a good combination of disseminating information that's helpful for them, and at the same time making sure that they feel that family sort of system where we're all together enjoying ourselves.
Injustice is like how they experience life for, most of it, and it continues today, right? There's health, socioeconomic factors that create vulnerability that, we're overrepresented in this population. And that, I think, will take longer to kind of handle and figure out. When it comes to going to, let's say, the CLSC, while that is something that seems simple and straightforward, they have experienced discrimination, not just with regard to their language, but also their ethnicity, that is an additional barrier. So it's not as simple as just how do we get them access to services? How do we get them access to services that are culturally adapted and respect their ethnicity? Those are two different things. The first one is pretty simple, right? You can provide English services, but can you provide them in a way that respects their culture and who they are? That's a different thing. A lot of what we do is based in shared life experience. And you cannot have shared life experience with someone that you don't have shared life experience with, right? So you cannot expect that of the system, right? However, the recognition that culture matters and the willingness to adapt, I think, is what we look for.
The main challenge is not knowing how and where they can access services. And that is a huge need, and a lot of the times we create documents for them, for example, to go to the doctor that have a list of common words or illnesses that translate from English to French. We call it like a doctor's passport, and it just helps them access a service that they didn't know that they could have, or they just would refuse to go to the doctors because they couldn't communicate with them very well. So we just really want to give them a power to access all the services that they can.
Because the fallout from all that is discrimination regarding culture is so present and so serious, for us, the language thing is just, it's like a distant second. Like if I can have a sense that you respect me and that whatever is happening between us is not happening because of race or any bias, then the fact that you refuse to speak to me in English is kind of like, well, on top of everything else, this is where I am today. But if they can get a sense that you are trying and that you are they're safe with you and with regards to ethnicity, I think they can get there, right? So somebody who's willing at the hospital, even though they're speaking French, to point and walk you through it and you can feel comfortable, they'll take it. And that would be the kind of like, oh, today was a good day, right? Where I think a lot of Anglophones for the majority population, this is a terrible day. You need to speak to me in English. Like, this is my right. And they're not wrong. It's just that we have something that kind of we carry in every interaction with anybody that we don't know. You kind of never know how it's going to turn out. So if it turns out that it's just language and we're both trying, we can make it.
So I think that there's a safety factor. I think that they know that they belong, that they're safe, that they can be themselves, and if there's issues, they know that they have a support system intact. So as lonely as they may seem to be, because sometimes they live alone, they do not have family, some of them live in other provinces or other countries, I truly believe that we've come to form a family amongst us as an organization with them, and also amongst them, they've created that connection there as well. So it's become a full circle.
Our program, for example, is a place where they come and they are just so thankful, and I think they're hopeful that they can just have that problem-free, a place to come to feel at home, to feel safe and not have any additional issues. I think they feel great hope that can be. And if we can give them that space where they can come and feel at home, as we call it, I think they're hopeful that that's all they want. I think they'll be good with that. They don't want much more.